everyone, welcome to this explainer. Okay, you know that feeling when you've been staring at a computer screen, totally paralyzed, completely unable to start a massive project, but somehow you easily just lost an hour scrolling through feeds or checking your email? Yeah, we've all been there. Well, this explainer is definitely for you. Today, we're going to completely reframe how you understand motivation, focus, and productivity. So get ready, because we are diving deep into your brain chemistry.
Seriously, think about this for a second. Why does getting a random new notification feel so much better than actually finishing your work? It's such a relatable problem, right? And honestly, this is the core mystery of modern work paralysis. Digital distractions are quite literally hijacking our brains. They're making the things we actually need to do feel completely impossible, while the things that just waste our time, well, they feel entirely irresistible.
All right, so here is our roadmap for the explainer today. We're going to hit 5 main points: the great dopamine myth, why big tasks paralyze, the salami strategy, engineering your small wins, and finally, reclaiming healthy dopamine.
Let's jump right into part 1, the great dopamine myth. And spoiler alert, it's not about pleasure.
There is a massive distinction between what we think dopamine is and what it actually is. Most of us just assume dopamine is the pleasure hormone. But wait, a revolutionary 1998 study by Kent Burridge totally shattered this belief. He found out that rats with damaged dopamine systems still actually liked sugar when it was placed directly on their tongues, but they completely lost the desire to go get it. So dopamine isn't about satisfaction at all. It's the hormone of craving. It's all about wanting. And that is exactly why you want to click that little red notification badge so badly, but you rarely feel any genuine satisfaction once you actually do.
To put some numbers to this, look at Stanford neurobiologist Robert Sapolsky's primate experiments. Just look at this: 100% versus 50%. Sapolsky found that dopamine fires at 100% intensity during the anticipation of a reward. But when that predicted reward finally arrives, the dopamine release drops all the way down to about 50%. This means a notification indicator isn't the reward itself. It's a signal that a reward might be coming. And that uncertainty, it explosively stimulates your dopamine.
So what does this actually mean for your focus? Well, psychiatrist Anna Lemke uses this really great pain-pleasure seesaw metaphor. When you're constantly overstimulated, having your email, Slack, and like 20 browser tabs open at once, you create this chronic low-level dopamine stimulation. Your brain adapts to this by just raising its dopamine baseline. The result, deep, focused, distraction-free work suddenly feels incredibly boring. Multitasking is quite literally numbing our biological ability to do deep work. Okay, moving right along to section 2, why big tasks paralyze, or as we can call it, the amygdala's warning. You know how you can always remember the stuff you haven't finished way better than the things you've actually completed? There's a name for that. It's called the Zeigarnik effect. These uncompleted tasks basically act like open mental browser tabs. They cause all this background stress, they keep us awake at night, and they completely overwhelm our cognitive load. It's draining our energy before we even type a single word or, write a single line of code. And here's the actual neuroscience behind why you freeze up. It's kind of like a tug of war in your head. On the left, your amygdala, which is your brain's fight or flight center, looks at a massive, vague task as a literal threat, and it immediately triggers an avoidance response. Procrastination isn't laziness. Actually, scratch that. It's more like a biological defense mechanism. But on the right side, your prefrontal cortex, the logic and decision-making center, is activated by tiny micro-actions. This shows exactly why just telling yourself to buckle down and do it completely fails when you're staring down a massive project. Which brings us to section 3, the salami strategy. Time to slice through that overwhelm. I absolutely love this quote from Alan Kelly. He says, "Think of the big requirements document as an uncut piece of salami. Slice the requirements into thin pieces of salami for development." It's such a brilliant visual. Think about it. You would never try to eat a whole giant salami in one single bite, right? No way. Just like you shouldn't try to tackle a massive project all at once. Let's see what this looks like in the real world with professionals from completely different fields. They use this strategy to transform an intimidating project into a totally manageable step-by-step journey. Take Laura, a lawyer. She slices a massive legal case into fact-finding, research, and trial prep. Michael, an accountant, divides a seriously daunting corporate audit into planning, fieldwork, and drafting. And Sophie, an entrepreneur, she slices launching her entire business into market research, design, and funding. By doing this, they literally trick their brains out of that fight or flight threat response. All right, section 4, engineering your small wins. This is your tactical guide. Now, you can actually pick a strategy that fits your workflow perfectly. Are you paralyzed by perfectionism? Use the 5-minute rule. Just commit to 5 minutes, and then you can totally stop if you want. Bogged down by a million tiny chores? Use the 2-minute rule to clear your mental load right away. Or maybe you need sustained focus. The Pomodoro technique is great for that, giving you 25 minutes of deep work followed by structured breaks.
So how do we actually do this step by step? First, pinpoint that overwhelming task. Basically anything that feels like a 7 out of 10 or higher on the resistance scale. Step 2, break it down into micro steps that take under 2 minutes. Step 3, and this is absolutely crucial, commit to just one micro step. Don't even think about the rest of the list. The brain simply doesn't resist tiny 60-second actions. And step 4, celebrate the win.
And guys, this isn't just nice-sounding theory, it gets real results. A PhD candidate who was stuck for a whole year committed to writing just 100 words a day, and she completed her entire literature review. A sales team logged just one call at a time to bypass the fear of rejection, and that led to a 35% revenue boost. An entrepreneur used 150 10-minute microsteps to launch a whole e-commerce store. The takeaway here? Consistent, nonlinear progress is always going to beat sporadic intensity. You do have to watch out for a few common traps, though. First off, don't make your steps too big. If you're feeling resistance, you gotta slice that salami thinner. Second, don't overplan. Limit your planning to 5 minutes so it doesn't just become another form of procrastination. And lastly, never, ever skip the celebration. Acknowledging that win triggers a dopamine release, which actually increases the likelihood of you repeating the behavior by an incredible 50%. That's huge. Finally, we're at section 5, reclaiming healthy dopamine. It's time for the reset.
If you really want to build a healthier brain, check out neuroscientist Andrew Huberman's dopamine reset protocol. Step 1 is identifying your sources by actually tracking your screen time. Step 2, do an intermittent digital fast for 2 to 4 hours daily. I'm talking 0 notifications. Step 3, delay your rewards until the task is fully complete. And step 4, set process goals, like I'm going to code for 2 hours instead of outcome goals. That way you get to feel accomplished every single day.
Going forward, there are 5 key motivation strategies you can use to stay sharp. First, tier your notifications so you aren't unpredictably triggered all day long. Second, create completion rituals to lock in that feeling of success. Third, keep a journal to track your skill growth. Fourth, embrace the productive struggle. Don't run from hard tasks because enduring that difficulty actually lowers your dopamine baseline back to healthy levels. And finally, design your environment. Seriously, just put the phone in another room. I want you to notice this really cool contrast here. On the left side, we have this German word, Glücksgefühl, which describes that momentary fleeting happiness you get from a cheap notification. But on the right side is what we actually want. It's to psych on, a Japanese concept, or the German word, Wohlbefinden. This is that sustained well-being. It's the profound, healthy dopamine of earned accomplishment. It's that amazing feeling you get when you finally solve a problem that's been stumping you for days. And that brings us to this incredibly powerful quote from Anna Lembke. The problem is not dopamine. The problem is that we're using our dopamine for things that don't deserve it. Listen, dopamine is an evolutionary gift. It's perfectly designed to help us learn, grow, and move towards something meaningful. It is definitely not the enemy. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought and a question to ponder. Your brain is generating dopamine right now. What are you going to spend it on? I really hope this explainer has empowered you to close those extra tabs, rethink your notifications, and start slicing your next big, intimidating task into a tiny piece of salami. Take that very first step, celebrate the win, and reclaim your focus. Keep learning, and I'll see you in the next explainer.